SAMM to deliver keynote speech. To Mr. Dr. Ridwan SAMM, time and place is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wasallim. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'dah. Pertama dan utama, marilah kita menyampaikan puji syukur kita kepada Allah SWT atas limpah rahmat karunia-Nya lah pada pagi yang berbahagia ini kita bisa berhadir di forum Zoom virtual ini dalam rangka kita mengikuti serangkaian kegiatan World Class Research Program yang ketiga. Kemudian salawat salam pada junjungan kita Nabi Muhammad SAW, pada keluarga, para sahabat yang telah membawa kita dalam dakwah dalam Islamiyah. Dengan rahmatnya kita berada dalam adinul Islam yang diridai oleh Allah SWT. Penghormatan kami pada Ketua Program International Business Economy atau IBEP, Saudara Talbani Fardian SEMA. Demikian juga penghormatan kami kepada Ketua International Business Economic Student Club dan sekaligus panitia yang telah bekerja. Penghargaan dan hormat kami atas nama dekan, yang pertama kami ingin sampaikan salam beliau pada kita semua, berhubung karena beliau di dalam berhalangan. Demikian juga dari wakil dekan 1. Baiklah, selanjutnya penghormatan dan penghargaan kami atas nama Dekan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Syahkuala. Demikian juga mewakili Bapak Rektor Universitas Syahkuala menyampaikan salam dan penghormatan kepada Mr. Profesor and Treasury Menki dari Harvard University yang pada kesempatan ini telah berkenan untuk menjadi keynote speaker dalam acara World Class Research Program yang ketiga. Selanjutnya, penghormatan kami kepada Mr. Profesor Gordon Baker, Property Associate Assessor di Technical Assistant USAID sebagai pembicara usulan tamu atau guest star pada kesempatan ini. Tidak lupa juga penghargaan dan penghormatan kami kepada Prof. Sabri Abdul Majid, MX, selaku koordinator program Magister Ilmu Ekonomi, Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, pada Dr. Paul Heru Falevi, sebagai dosen Fakultas Ekonomi di program akuntansi, sekaligus sebagai chief editor untuk jurnal Jedap, yang merupakan jurnal tertinggi akreditasinya untuk saat ini yang ada di Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis. Adik-adik para mahasiswa dan bapak-bapak serta ibu-ibu dosen, para peserta Zoom di World Class Research Program dan juga workshop Meet and Greet IBEPS 2020 yang mungkin sudah berlangsung pada pertemuan kemarin yang lalu. Atas nama Dekan Fakultas Ekonomi, kami menyampaikan apresiasi yang sangat tinggi, terutama pada Pak Talbani Fardian beserta dengan seluruh mahasiswanya sesuai internasional dan seluruh panitia yang telah konsisten ya melaksanakan work class research program ini, sehingga alhamdulillah pada tahun ini mencapai kegiatan yang ketiga. Ya, walaupun mungkin di akhir tahun pelaksanaan ini bisa kita laksanakan. Ya, nah memang pandemi COVID yang tidak bisa kita prediksi ya di masa beberapa bulan yang lalu. Besar harapan kami insya Allah sesuai apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Talbani, bahwa dengan pelaksanaan World Class Research Program ini telah menghasilkan berbagai keunggulan daripada para mahasiswa dalam melakukan riset dan melakukan penulisan ilmiah bertaraf internasional. Ya, mudah-mudahan juga ini memberikan harapan besar ya kepada kita semua, sehingga juga dosen-dosen pasti selama ini telah membimbing ya adik-adik kita ini semuanya untuk melakukan riset dan sekaligus melakukan penulisan jurnal ilmiah internasional. Mudah-mudahan di tahun yang akan datang bisa lebih meningkat. Dan kita harapkan juga kita bisa menghasilkan ya sebuah jurnal lagi yang bertaraf internasional di bawah koordinasi IBEP ini. Mudah-mudahan dengan demikian apa yang menjadi IKU atau harapan dari ya, keunggulan Universitas Syah Kuala dan sekaligus keunggulan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis yang menjadi idola kita bersama dapat kita capai di depan di tahun-tahun yang akan datang. Ya, apalagi kita juga mengharapkan ada akreditasi jurusan di tahun akan datang untuk menjadi akreditasi bertaraf internasional. Inilah beberapa harapan dan penghargaan kami atas kegiatan Work Class Program yang ketiga ini. Mudah-mudahan dengan kami mengucapkan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Work Class Program yang ketiga yang dilaksanakan pada hari ini hingga besok hari akan dapat berjalan dengan sukses. Demikian, hadanallahu wa iyyakum ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you Pak
Ya,
Dr.
Pak, ini saya mohon pamit ya. Oke,
Ya, terima
thank
kasih
you.
Pak. Terima kasih
Ya,
Pak.
selamat sukses.
Thank you so much to Mr. Dr. Ridwan SAMM. And then the next agenda is prayer that will be led by Muhammad Asrar Farabi. To Muhammad Asrar Farabi, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamda yuafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu wa lakash syukru kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karimi wa 'azimi sultanik. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا ولمشايخنا ولجميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم إنا نسألك سلامة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة وعافية في الجسد وزيادة في العلم وبركة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت ورحمة عند الموت ومغفرة بعد الموت والنجاة من النار والعفو عند الحساب برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذريتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا أوزعنا أن نشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علينا وعلى والدينا وأن نعمل صالحا ترضاه وأدخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much to our brother Muhammad Asrar. May Allah give us guidance and help. Amin. I would like to say my honorable to Nikmal Maula as our moderator for today and Professor Dr. Muhammad Sabri SAMAC, Mr. Talbani Farlian SAMA, and Mr. Dr. Herufal Levi SAMAC as our special speaker for today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we will start our main session with a talk show that will talk about introduction to research, literature review, and methodology and result analysis. We would like to welcome to our speaker, Professor Dr. Muhammad Sabri, SAMAC, Mr. Talbani Farlian, SAMA, and Dr. Heru Fahlevi, SAMSC, that will be interviewed by Nikmal Maula, that will be lead the talk show until the Q&A session. Please welcome, because time and place is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nikmal Maula, and today I will be your moderator for our third world-class research program. And our first speaker for today is Professor Dr. Muhammad Sabri Abdul Majid, SAMSC. First of all, I would like to introduce Professor Sabri to all of us. Currently, Professor Sabri is leading Magister of Islamic Economic at Shahwala University. He's graduated from Ilmu Manajemen Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Shahwala at bachelor degree, Master of Economic Kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences at International Islamic University Malaysia, and got a PhD degree in Economics Kuliah of Economics and Management Science, International Islamic University Malaysia. On 2018, Professor Sabri has an award from the Ministry of Education and Higher Education as the most outstanding lecturer. Without further ado, I would like to call Professor Sabri to start the talk show and talk about the research. So Professor Sabri, time and place is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, please, the host kindly allow me to share the slide. Okay, thanks. Okay, first of all, I would like to congratulate the coordinator or the director of International Business and Economic Program for has been successfully conduct the world-class research program for 3 years consecutively. Fortunately, I have been invited for the
three world-class research program, and thank you for my beloved brother, sister Nikmal Maula, the moderator for this morning sessions. My senior brother, I see Pak Dr. Iskandar Shah Majid together with us, and all students who participating in this program. In these sessions, as requested, I would like to discuss sharing with you about the research. This is basically very basic issue. What is research? We have to know that doing research is very important. People become knowns through the research, and I really hope that, as explained by the Pak Talbani, in the last few years, international business and economic program students quite active, involved, presented paper in conference, and even though some of them managed to secure got the reward. And we really hope that because if we look around nowadays, there are many academic writing competitions, and hopefully students can take chance right in that competition. When the student able to publish their article or presenting their article, or even though got the reward from the competition, then of course our program of the study will be well known. And based on my experience, when I meet the people, I introduce myself, even though to the former rector of Syah Kuala University, when I used to be the postgraduate student. At that time, I was not the staff, and when I introduced my name to the former rector, then the rector said, "Oh, you are Sabri, you are brother Sabri." I said yes. Then he told me that I know you via your writing. I read a lot of your popular article published in local media, and he said, just continue what you have done. Has basically something good. Then when I attended, I took the test to become a lecturer at the university. Then of course that was one of the advantage, because the rector already knew me through my writing. Hopefully the world-class research program will benefit you, at least to enhance our understanding what is research, and the most important thing is how to conduct the research. Okay, I just would like to share some fundamental notes on the research. What is the research? I just would like to start, kick the ball, and then later on the ball will be continued control by Pak Talbani and Pak Heru, because they are going to discuss how to write a good literature review, and also discuss about the research method. Okay, this is my favorite caricature. Right? Looking at this picture, right? There is a bureaucrat, very fat bureaucrat. with microscope, he would like to identify where is the pool, or in other words, he would like to do a mapping, right? Where is the pool? Whether the pool is located in the coastal area or located in the, let's say, in the urban or rural area, or who are the majority of poor by profession, whether the farmer, whether the whether the traders or etc. Because when we look at this picture, I think until the hereafter, until Kiamat, right, he could not find the pool. Where is the pool? Because this picture basically illustrates the common mistake made by a researcher when he would like to identify the problem, when he would like to provide the solution to the problem, let alone the recommendation, right, provided to solve the problem. Of course, this would not be realized, right? Okay, discuss about the research, right? We have to understand, right, when we look the term of research, we know that what is the meaning of searching, or investigating, or exploring, or assessing, right, or determining, etc. But when we do searching, right, when we do investigating, exploring, and so on, basically we are not the first person, right? The term of research, right, meaning that we basically the next person that continuing research, right? Okay, based on this picture, right, we know that this bureaucrat, he purposely identified, right, where is the pool, and of course he used the microscope here, right? So at least this illustrate research, right? Meaning that when we do the research, it is a first action, right? It is an intention, right? It is intentionally done, not unintentionally, right? And also, why, right? He would like to why he take a microscope here, because he would like to identify the problem, right? So at least we know that the research arise because of the problem. If there is no problem, then no reason for us to conduct a research. That's why it is the first step basically, right? We need to identify the research problem, right? We will talk later on about the research problem. Of course, right? Then I conclude, right, this picture. I mentioned here the element in the eyelid is invisible, while the ant across the ocean is visible. This basically I just translate, right, from the proverb, right, in Indonesia, right, gajah di pelupuk mata tidak nampak, while the ant across the ocean is visible. They are semut, the animal which is far away that people can easily view, right? It is simply because of the what we call of the misuse of the research method. So in this case, basically, what is the research method here? Basically, is the microscope. In order to identify the poor, basically no need to use microscope. He can directly, right, go down and look, right, down, and he will find where is the poor. Okay, when we discuss about the research, because as we all understood that as one of the requirement for you, to graduate a bachelor degree, you have to write called scriptsy or final project. Final project is also a serious type of the research, and when we discuss about the research, in a broader sense, at least it consists few important aspect, component or dimension. We have abstract, we have introductions, we have literature review, right? We have method, we have result, discussion, and also the conclusion, right? Of course, there is a title, right, reference, or etc., but that is some minor thing. If you look right at the puzzle here, this kind of the puzzle, where the abstract, right, the part of abstract, introductions, section, literature review, and other component of the research, it is connected. Connected, right? What does it mean, right? It is connected. Basically, when it is connected, for example, let's say if a kid play this kind of the puzzle, for example, let's say you kick this puzzle because it could be you didn't see, right? A kid play a puzzle, then you hit or you kick, right, with your foot this puzzle, then the puzzle will remain intact. Right? Not going to be separated. Right? This basically one of the important aspect of a good research, meaning that the research should be right integrated, right, from one aspect to another. There is a connection, right, from one part to another, or it is called as a red tape, right, or it is called as a benang merah. All right, so meaning that the abstract, introduction should be connected, and also the literature review that we conduct should be connected to the introduction. The method should also provide answer, right, for the research question that mentioned in the introduction, and so on. And also the conclusion that we have in our research also should provide, right, the research questions that we highlight, right, in the earlier chapters. My beloved student, right, when we discuss about the research, some people look that research is the tough thing to conduct. It is the most difficult subject. That's why here, right, in one of the figure here, some people look, right, in order to finish, to complete, right, our research, we need to have what we call the horse, right, what we call the tenaga kuda, right, meaning that we need strong energy, right, to complete our research. But basically, research is difficult, right? As long as we want to study, because we know that in order to write a good article, a good research, we have to read a lot of other research. Because people says that a good writer should be a good reader. And of course, this would be very much in line with the first verses, right, sent on by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala through angel, right, via angel for Prophet, right, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right, when angel asked Prophet, Iqra, right, Iqra, read. Then Prophet reply, what should I read? Ma ana biqari. Then angel again reply, read until 3 times. So meaning, what does it mean? Meaning that reading is very important in order to produce an article or to conduct a research, meaning that we have to read more rather than writing. Okay, so what is research here? Right? Research is the systematic investigation into the study, right, of material, sources, or people, or problem, social, or etc., in order to establish fact and reach a new conclusion. Right? It is an endeavor to discover new or call it old fact, etc., by scientific study of a subject or by a course of critical investigation. So based on this definition, right, at least when we discuss about the research, it should be systematic. What do we mean by systematic or sequential? Systematic meaning that, right, example, let's say when you would like, right, to what we call when they would like to do something, then what should be conduct first, what should be second, right? It should be in order, right? It should be the right order. He cannot doing research, right, starting by conclusion or starting by research method. The research should be started, right? Should be start with the introduction. Example, let's say when right, Zahra Maulida would like to eat, right, what he will do first, right? And of course, right, he will wash hands, right, and then take the spoon, plate, or etc. Take rice, then he will eat, right? So that meaning that is a systematic, right? Should be in order, right? And also, it is an endeavor. An endeavor meaning that it is conducted purposely, right, with a purpose, right, intentionally, right. Cannot people, for example, say, why you doing research just for fun, right? It is a critical, right, a critical investigation, right? A critical investigation. What do we mean by critical investigation? For example, let's say like the current cases, right? Hot cases in Indonesia whereby Sikh, right, FBI member was shot by the police, right? So discuss about critical member. When you discuss, let's say, all the process should be critically, should be critically evaluated, should be scrutinized well, right? For example, let's say when people produce the fact, right? Produce the fact, then of course the fact should be investigated well. When somebody telling you an information, then you cannot simply, oh, you just accept totally the information. We have to check first, right? That basically we discuss about a critical investigation. So another important aspect of research here, discuss here, right, to establish fact and reach a new conclusion, right? Meaning that when there is a problem, we would like to the problem, right? Then of course, for example, let's say discuss about the COVID, right? COVID-19, right? Pandemic. What are the cause of the COVID-19 pandemic? Then of course we investigate critically, and then right, through the systematic process, right, they can offer, right, for example, let's say this the true cause of the COVID pandemic. So meaning that they show the fact, right? They would like to find the what we call the answer, right? But of course, one of the important aspect of the research, of course, the researcher should, right, what we call based on the ethic, right? Meaning that he cannot manipulate the data, use wrong data, right? Or discuss about data falsification or data fabrications, right? Because all the process should be scientific process, right? So in other words, basically, right, the primary objective of research basically to seek the truth, right? To seek the truth, right? That's why the research cannot, right, based on what we call wrong data, right? Because later on, all the results should be valid or should be robust or should be reliable. There are hallmark, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? At least there are 8 hallmark of scientific research. A hallmark is basically the pillar, right? The foundation, the important part of the research, right? As I mentioned earlier, the first is purposiveness. What do you mean purposiveness, right? The research conducted with a purpose, and then rigor, right? Rigorous meaning that the model is valid, right? Can be proven. And also when, for example, let's say you would like to check the data or etc., the process is basically right. We can the researcher can confirm that, right? He used the right process, and also it is testability, replicability. What do you mean by replicability? Example, let's say when Teku Abdullah Z conduct research, he produced the output, and then when Muharram would like to conduct the same, then of course he will produce the right. Or for example, let's say when Zahra, right, Zahra Maulida, for example, let's say he loved to cook. He right one day he cooked a cake, a very nice cake. Then Dara Aprilia, right, asked Maulida, please kindly share the recipe, right? How you prepare the cake. It is very tasty, very nice. Then Maulida said, sorry, I do not know how to prepare because I just prepare it by trial and error, right? Prepare by trial and error. It could be the first attempt, second attempt. It could be the 10, right? The 10th attempt, he produced a nice cake. But when we asked Maulida to reproduce the same tasty cake, the same nice cake, he said, sorry, I do not know, right? Because by trial and error, that it is not scientific because it is not replicability, right? And then precision, right, should be accurate, should be confident. Objectivity meaning that it is not subjectivity, basically based on the data. We conduct basically not the output is not the researcher says, right? What the researcher is saying, but we discuss about objectivity is basically what is the data saying, right? The researcher is only basically analyze the data. And then generalize, right? For example, let's say when somebody focusing research, taking a case of the study, then the finding can be generalized. For example, let's say what are the common, right, trouble or problem faced by our international student studying in Indonesia. For example, let's say they said our main problem is food because the food in Indonesia is very hot, right? It's not easy for us to take hot food, right? For example, let's say our brother, Bakari Diba, I do not know whether he, right, because in Indonesia, right, when you take the food, it's very hot, right? Many chili inside, right? Then, for example, let's say when Bakari Diba said to us, right, from Africa, we are not common for hot food, then we can generalize all students from Africa who are in Indonesia, the common problem that they are facing basically food, right, the hot food. That is basically discuss about generalizability. And then the last aspect of a good research is basically parsimony. What do you mean by parsimony? Parsimony meaning that kind of people saying like minimalist, right? Meaning that we have our simple, our simple model, right? But the model, right, describe many things. Or in other words, right, when people, for example, let's say argue or write a paper, he write a short sentence, but the sentence, right, has what we call a lot of meaning. That basically we discuss about parsimony, meaning that parsimony is simpler. Okay, this is a common problem, right? This I think is common what we call problem faced by researcher. Okay, research is what we do when we have a question or problem. So meaning that research, right, arises because of the problem or because of question. When we have a question, right, we want to find the answer for the question. When we have a problem, we would like to identify why the problem arises, right? What are the causes of the problem, and then what the solution that we would like. We may already think, right, we know the answer to our question. We may think the answer is obvious, common sense even, but until we have subjected to our problem to rigorous scientific scrutiny. When we have a problem, right, when we have a question, we may guess it could be the right answer is this, right, for this question, right? But in order to get the correct answer, then of course we need to do a rigorous scientific scrutiny. We need to do a research, right? Because our knowledge remain little, right? We would like to provide the answer for the question or for the problem, right? It's more based on the guesswork, yeah, guessing, right? Guesswork or intuition, right? Or for example, let's say Aisyah Humaida, in your opinion, right, why, for example, let's say the trend of the COVID keep increasing? Then Aisyah Humaida say, maybe, right, maybe, probably, could be, right? That basically showing that, right, Aisyah not really sure about the question, right? Just it is a kind of the guesswork. That's why it is very important for us in order to produce the correct answer, because because we would like to cover, we would like to provide the truth, right? Then of course it needs a rigorous scientific research. Okay, when we do a research, when we have a problem, people may provide a different answer to the question. It is very much depending on the philosophy of called paradigm, or very much depending on the worldview. Right? The way how we view things, of course, right? People will provide a different, would see a different view and would provide a different answer or different conclusion. For example, let's say when people asking, right, a very common, what is dunia? What is the world? What is the world, right, to you? Then the people say, right, oh, dunia panggung sandiwara. Right, world is just simply kind of what we call the place to play a drama. Or we ask other people, what is the world? They said, ad-dunya madra'atul akhirah. The world is the place for us to what we call to utilize, right? So that, right, whatever we utilize, then we can harvest, right, in the hereafter. So meaning that when we ask about something, we ask about an object, or we ask about the problem, people may view differently because they have a different worldview. They have a different philosophy, or they have a different paradigm. Because when we discuss about the research, it is very important, right, for us to understand the research philosophy, or call a research paradigm, or call a research worldview, right? Although some scholars, right, differentiate these three different terms, but to some of them they said, right, worldview, philosophy, paradigm share the same meaning. right? I'm not going to discuss this in a more detail, but I just would like at least to show you a case here, right? How you later on you see the case, then you will provide a different answer. Okay, my beloved brothers, let us look at a riddle here, a case here, right? Okay, because I would like to get answer right from all of you. Okay, a man and his son, right? A man and his son are driving to a championship football game, right? It is late December and the roads are covered with snow, right? So this story basically not happening in Indonesia, but this story is basically right in the countries right with a four season, right? They have snow, right? They hit a patch of ice and crash into a telephone pole. An ambulance rushes the son to a nearby hospital and operating room. The doctor walks in and says, right, the doctor walks into the operating room of the hospital and says, I can operate. That is my son. Right? I cannot operate. That is my son. How could this be true? Right? Or let me repeat. A man and his son, right? We know that, right? The connection, the correlation between a man and his son. A man here, of course, a father and a son, right? A man and his son are driving to a championship football game. They would like to watch the football championship, right? It is late December and the roads are covered with snow, right? They hit a patch of ice and crash into a telephone pole. Accident, heavy accident occurred, right? An ambulance rushes the son, right? This the son with the man, right? The son to a nearby hospital and operating room. So meaning that is under emergency case, right? The doctor walk in and says, the doctor walk in into the hospital, right? Into the operating room of the hospital. Then the doctor who walked in into operating room says, I cannot operate, that is my son. The question here, could you please guess, right? Who is the doctor who says that I cannot operate, that is my son? Assuming that the doctor who said, I cannot operate, this is my son, it is true. Right? Okay. Please provide your answer. Who is the doctor who says, I cannot operate, that is my son? Okay, hopefully you get right the story, yeah? You get the story, you understand the story correctly, right? So that you can provide the answer. Right, that basically at least illustrate, right, the how you view the case, right? Then you come with a different answer, right? Whatever your answer, assume it is incorrect and come up with a second answer. For example, let's say when Brother Lamin says, "Oh, the doctor, let's say the doctor did this," then Aisyah Humeda say, right? It is not correct, or it is correct, but there is another possible answer. Okay, I would like to ask Sister Nur Ashikin. We have Nur Ashikin here. Nur Ashikin, you are here. Okay, Sister Nur Ashikin, your answer. Nur Ashikin, are you Malaysian or Indonesian?
Yes, sir.
Nur Ashikin.
Oh, Nur Ashikin.
Where is Nur Ashikin? Okay, Aisyah Humaida. What is the answer? I cannot operate, that is my son. Who says that?
It's the mother.
It's the mother. Okay,
The doctor is the mother, right?
that's very good answer. Right. I just would like to ask Aisha. Aisha, in your family or your close family, is there any medical doctor who is a woman? Could be your mother, or it could be your sister, or it could be your what we call your sister-in-law, or your neighbor. Right? She is a doctor, female medical doctor. Do you have a family, a female medical doctor?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think right. Why Aisha that the as a answer, because Aisha right influenced right by the environment, right, because he knew few female medical doctor. Okay, our Gezarina, yeah, Gezarina, please Gezarina show up your face. Okay, Gezarina, assuming that, right, it is not a mother. The doctor who says that I cannot operate, it is not the mother of that son. Assuming that the answer provided by your friend earlier, right, it is incorrect. Please come up with another answer. Please unmute. Unmute first.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who is the doctor?
Siapa?
Unmute. You have an answer?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, you are not sure, right? No, we would like to ask our brother Jonathan Karai. Oh, brother Lamin, you have answer?
I would also agree with Isa, but if I should disagree with Isa, I would say that possibly it might be maybe his maybe the stepfather or something like that.
Okay, the stepfather. Okay,
Yeah.
could be true. Yeah, a stepfather. Right? Okay. Assuming that the answer, right, of Lamin and answer of earlier sister is incorrect, please come up with another answer. Bakari, you have answer? You have another answer other than right, stepfather or mother?
And maybe it can be an adopted child.
Sorry?
Like maybe the son is adopted by the earlier man whom he got involved in an accident with.
Adopted son. Adopted
son, yeah.
Okay, it could be adopted father. Right? It could be adopted father. Okay, no, we already have three answer. Right? Okay. Any other possible answer? Zahra, you would like to provide answer? Zahra? Or anybody else who have answer, please, because our time is rushing. Syah Faradiba. Okay.
It can also be the uncle, I think. I get so. Maybe the brother of the father or the younger brother.
Brother of the father or younger father.
Younger brother.
Right. We call here Abua or Pakcik. Right. Because they say it is my son. Okay, you are correct. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, right? What is the possible answer here? The first one is the doctor who, right, came, right, who walked into the operating room. It may be very confused because the boy was messed up beyond recognition. Right, for example, let's say a doctor will look at the what we call the boy was very messed up. It could be right. What we call his face is bloody, then it could be he just show, for example, let's say the nose, right? The nose could be is not bloody. Then he looked at the nose is look like his son. Then he may say, oh, it is my son, right? Because the boy was beyond recognition. Okay, the second possible answer, the doctor gave his sperm to a sperm bank and the boy was father bank. Right? Why nobody come up with this answer? Because in Indonesia or in Africa, it could be there is no sperm bank. Right? I think in the Western countries, developed countries, right, they do practice this. Okay, the third possible answer, adoptive father, already mentioned. Father in the Catholic priest, right? Catholic priest. It could be when he watched the football, basically, right? The son with the Catholic priest, or it could be the medical doctor is the Catholic priest, because the priest, right? For all kids, they say it is my son. Okay, the last one, the doctor is the boy mother. Okay, when we look at this answer, right? All the answer is correct, but correct to certain people, but he may think that it is incorrect for others. That basically, right, when we view things, we may produce a different answer. That basically reflect, right, the paradigm, reflect the worldview. Okay. Next, right, here we would like to discuss the, because we know that, right, research arises, people conduct research because there is a problem. So the foundation of the research process is basically the research begin with a problem or begin with a question. So that's why it's very important question here, where to find the research problem, how to find the question, right? Okay, what is the research problem? Right, what is the research question? A problem is an interrogative sentence or statement that has relation, right? Exists between two or more variables. The answer to a question will provide is having sought in the research. So discuss about a statement that asks what relation exists. Basically, this discuss about type of quantitative problem. Because we know that, right, in economic, one of focus, right, the main focus of the research basically discuss about the variable. What is meant by variable? What is variable? Variable is basically something varies. It could be object, it could be people, it could be entity, as long as it is varies. Varying, something varying, something with variety, it is called a variable, right? Because if it is something stable or something constant, then it is not interesting for people to ask. For example, let's say I know Nikmal Maula, right? I am a close friend of Nikmal Maula, right? Starting from kindergarten until today. Right? I know Nikmal Maula, right? his behavior, his let's say favorite food or etc. Let's say one day, right, I see, right, Nikmal Mola change. He behaves totally different compared to a normal condition. Of course, when somebody change, right, then people would like to know, Nikmal Mola, what happened to you? Do you have did you have a dream, a nice dream, or like what happened to you, right? So when there is a change, right, then people interested to know what caused the change. That why, right, if something, let's say when we look at the data, if the data stable, constant, does not change, then no need to do a research because it is not a variable. For example, let's say, right, Brother Lamin come to the class, he said, oh, I have an idea. I would like to do a very important research. Nobody have done this research so far. I am the first person to conduct this research. I believe this research is very important. Right, then Bakari asked Lamim, what kind of research you like to do? Lamim say, I would like to know why, right, the sun, right, why the sun rise, right, in the east, right, and then dawn in the west, right? So you would like to know, right, the sun, right, matahari, right, the sun, why the sun rise in the east, right, then goes down in the west, right? Then of course Bakri say, that is not important, that is useless for you to know, right? Because, right, basically we know that, right, starting from let's say our childhood, or let's say our grandfather or etc., right, we know that the sun rises in the east. No need for us to do research on that. That is a useless research, right? Because, right, it is a constant, does not change, right? Unless, right, Lamin said, okay, people said that Kiamat, the day of the hereafter, the day of hereafter, right? In the day of hereafter, the sun, right? The sun will rise in the west but goes down in the east, right? Then Lamin would like to, let's say, to do a research, because we know that when we look at the sun, some degree change the rotation, right? They would like to evaluate, right, how long the change, right, the degree takes place, so that, right, how many years in the future, right, the sun rotates, we rotate, and finally we rise in the west and, right, dawn in the east, right? You would like to identify the changes, right, the degree of the changes, the rotation of the sun. That, of course, that could be a research because you focus a variable, right? Okay. According to Woodward's, right, research problem as a situation for which we have no ready or successful response by instinct or by previous acquired habit, we must find out what to do. The solution can be found out only after an investigation. Oh yeah, the word research problem is an area of concern where the gap in the knowledge base needed for professional practices, right? So in a nutshell, basically we discuss about the problem. The problem basically something happened beyond our expectation. We have a target, but our target, let's say the ideal and reality, there is a difference between ideal and reality. There is difference between realized and our target. There is a difference between vision, mission, and reality. That basically the problem. Nikmal Maula, for example, let's see, targeted to get CGPA, IPK, right? To get a grade final grade, for example, let's say 3.9, right? But at the end of semester, he only got, right, 3.1. That is a problem because your achievement is far beyond, far less than the target, right? That is the problem. So when there is a problem, then of course, it is important to identify why we cannot reach the target, right? What cause? What are the problem? And of course, when we discuss about in economic, for example, let's say, when for example, let's say, Nikmal Maula target to get, right, CGPA 3.9, but he failed. Then the question here, why he failed? What factor yeah, contributing to her failure? Is it discipline? Is it, let's say, study hours, hardworking, doing assignment, or it is simply because due to external factors such as lecture too strict, or like say the time, right? The time provided for the exam too short, or you say that the question is very difficult. The lecturer never discussed that topic in the class, but that question came out during the exam. That basically, right, when, for example, let's say there is a change in one variable, then it is interesting for us what caused the change, right? Or in other words, right, Nikmal Maula today is not happy. So the question here, what caused Nikmal Maula not happy? Look at the causes. Is it because for example, let's say he loses his money, or is it because somebody say something bad to her, right? Or is it because Nikmal Maula wake up a little bit late and he rushing to the class today, then he cannot take breakfast? So it is interesting to identify what the causes of, let's say, what we call discuss about the behavior of people, right? Then it is also interesting, right? We are not only stopping at the cause, looking at the cause, but also the consequences. What are the consequences when Nikmal Maula have, for example, let's say, bad behavior, or let's say a bit emotional, etc.? Then we would like to see how her emotional changes, right, affect others. Example, let's say, right, I am a close friend of Allah, and he said, for example, let's say when I discuss with him, I ask the question to him, he just keep quiet, right? Of course, I got affected. Or let's say in most cases, or let's say yesterday he promised me, right, to belanja me, let's say to pay, right, to provide me food, etc. Then today he just keep quiet. So meaning that when Nikmal Maula, right, let's say unhappy today because due to a certain problem, then his behavior affect others, right? That is right. That basically, right, a kind of interesting focus, right, in business, in economic, and also in accounting, or people saying that what is the cause and effect, what is the antecedent, right? What is the antecedent, or people saying what is the dependent variable, right? What is, or let's say people saying what is the exogenous variable, cause the dependent variable, or cause the endogenous variable. And then when the endogenous variable change, then it will affect others, right? Okay, where to find the problem? Right? Finding the research question here, of course, could be from curiosity, right? Information, right? Controversy, replication, or by reading, right? Or technology change, existing theory, right? Previous research, discussion with supervisor, or because of experience, etc. Of course, there are many sources of the problem, right? The more we read, right, the more we we go around, the more we discuss, the more we interact with the people, the longer the experience that we have, right, the more the problem we can cover. Okay, a type of a problem or question, I think I have discussed earlier. We have a descriptive. Descriptive question is very much related to qualitative research, right? Descriptive meaning that what is the cause, why. Right? Just need a description. All right. For example, let's say what. Let's say what is the performance, how the performance, right? The let's say the studying performance of EBF student last year. So meaning just look at the what we call the score, right, of cumulative grade point average or index prestasi kumulatif. That discuss about descriptive. And then relationship question, right? That basically focusing on interaction, right, between the variable. Let's say why a student, right, cannot score a good grade, right? Is it because of the lecturer too strict, or is it because of a question too difficult? That basically discuss about relationship, right? And also a difference question, different why, for example, let's say right, there is a different performance between one student or another. Or for example, let's say whether the COVID, right, whether the COVID affect the performance of the student. We can compare, for example, let's say, is there any difference between the performance of student before and after the COVID? Okay, brothers and sisters, right, the problem itself is not enough, right, for us to conduct a research. That is not a sole reason, right? We need another important reason, right, for us to conduct a research. Example, let's say, right, Lamin, let's say Lamin would like to study, right? What, for example, let's say the driving, or right, the pull or pushing, right? Pulling and pushing factor of international students studying in Indonesia. What caused the international students studying in Indonesia? Right? And then I asked Lamin, why you do that? Oh, because some student happy, some student not happy, right? And then I told Lamin, there are many study people. For example, let's say Bakari have conduct the similar research, the similar research to you. Hendra also have conducted the same study, right? So that in that case, you have to provide another justification, another reason for you, right, to conduct a research. Because research, right, when we do research, we cannot simply, right, replicate, meaning that we cannot just doing what our research similar to earlier research. At least our research have to be different. So when people, for example, let's say, Lamin, why you do this study? Many people have done the study. Then Lamin have to answer, yes, I know, but my study is different. Then you have to show you're different. So meaning that you have to show that your study is better. Your study have a strength than earlier study, right? That is basically, it's very important for us to identify the gap of the research, right? The gap of the research. For example, let's say I do the study because the problem, right? And of course, this problem has been identified by earlier study, but earlier study failed to provide comprehensive analysis simply because of previous study, for example, let's say, did not look into this, ignore this aspect, right? Or the data period is too short, the sample is too small. That's why I would like to, right, fill up this existing gap. I would like to do a more comprehensive study. Okay, what is the research gap here? Right, the research gap is basically the gap, right? The what we call the aspect not investigated. Or for example, let's say it is investigated but lack evidence available, right? So the research gap here, there are 7 research gap, right? That basically this I discussed a high level, right? Because this is very important for PhD degree, right? For doctoral student, but also undergraduate student have to provide a gap, right, in the research. Okay, just would like to discuss very brief. For example, let's say there is evidence gap, right? There is evidence gap. What is evidence gap? Right, it could be, for example, let's say Lamin said that, for example, let's say Lamin, I have to know your program study. Is it accounting or economic or business? So that I can give a proper sample, proper example.
It's economics.
Okay, economic. Yeah, let's say, right? Lamin would like to investigate, right? Lamin would like to investigate whether inflations, right? Whether the inflation, right, is an obstacle for economic development, economic growth. Whether inflation is good for economic growth or whether inflation bad for economic growth. Or in other words, whether inflation, right, has a negative effect on economic growth or bad for economic growth, or inflation have a positive impact, right? Meaning that inflation is good for economic growth, or whether inflation has no effect, no relation to the economic growth. Right? Simple, let's say there is evidence, right? Many studies have looked at inflation and economic growth in Africa, but they find a mixed finding. Some says positive, some says negative, some says independent, no connection, no correlation, right, between inflation and economic growth. That, right, in that case, meaning that due to a conflicting, a mixed finding, let's say Lamin would like to ensure that having a longer data period, right, would like to ensure that is it positive or negative. That basically discuss about evidence gap. Then we have population gap, right? Population gap could be a different geographical area. It could be studies in Africa have a positive effect. How about the study in Asia? Is it the same? Right, that is population gap. Theoretical gap. Right, theoretical gap, it could be, right, what is our finding is again the theory. Right, our finding is again the theory. Right, for example, let's say discuss, the theory, right, a certain theory in economic, or let's say theory in finance, right? In finance, saying that there is a trade-off, right, between risk and return, higher risk, higher return, right? But when, right, some study find that no, not necessarily higher risk, higher return, but people still can get higher return with a lower risk. So people would like to check, right, would like to evaluate whether the theory of trade-off in finance is still correct, right, or still alive, still used, or it is already there, right? That basically discuss about theoretical gap. Empirical gap here, it could be, right, for example, let's say we know that Indonesia is largest economies, right, have a potential right, development, right, in the future, but study on is, for example, let's say not many study conducted in the case of Indonesia. For example, let's say similar study in Malaysia and in other ASEAN countries. That is basically empirical gap, meaning that there is a lacking empirical gap. That's why we would like to provide, right, to enrich the existing gap, right, or to update the gap. And then methodological gap, it could be because of the model, right? It could be the variable that they use, right? The data that they use, right, is not comprehensive. That's why you would like to come with a new research. And then knowledge gap, right? Practical knowledge gap, that is kind of what people understood is totally different with right reality. So in short, basically, when we like to conduct a research, our research start with a problem, but the problem itself is not enough. We have to also at the same time fill the gap, right? Okay, Sister Moderator, right? Do I still have time? Right?
Actually, your time has running out since 15
Okay.
minutes ago, sir. But
Why don't
how
you?
to approach you? Yeah, because
Okay,
it's still in the middle of the presentation, so I'm not.
Okay, you have to remind me. Okay, I will share you the slide, right? Later on here. Okay, but here, right? Just I would like to conclude here when we discuss about the research. At least we have to the research process here. The first is we have to define a research problem.
Okay.
Research problem, what are the problem, and also the gap, right? That we would like to review, and then of course review the concept, review the theory, right? We have to identify what has been conducted previously, right? Review the previous finding, right? So at least we know, we learn from others how they conduct the research, right? But of course, we have to be different with them, and then we formulate the research question, research model, or research hypothesis. So when we had a problem, then what the problem can formulate it right into a research question, right? The research question that basically we seek to provide the answer, right? And then we have a research design here. We have a methodology, right? We have a methodology whether in order to answer the research question, we use a quantitative approach or we use a qualitative approach, right? We have instrument, right? We have a pre-test, pilot test, pilot study. Example, let's say how, what are the source of data, from where to collect the data, right? Who are our respondent, right? Whether the data, right, collected from the report or it is called secondary, or whether we focus on time series, right? Or using historical data, or let's say we focus on certain point, or it is called cross-sectional data. Then we collect the data. After collecting the data, right, we analyze the data. Of course, when we analyze the data, we have to really ensure, right, the validity of the data, reliability of data. Right? Otherwise, our finding would be misleading. Right? Then the data analyzed, the data, we test the hypothesis, because we know that hypothesis is our statement, right, on the expected research output. Right, but when we find the finding, when output of research is produced, it is called thesis. So we have before, right, right, when we still have the data, right, we guess what is the finding, that it is called hypothesis. But when we have the output, it is called thesis. But when people, right, argue or counter your thesis is incorrect, then it is called antithesis, right? So we have hypothesis, we have thesis, we have antithesis. And then we interpret the data, discuss the finding, and then we do the report. That is basically, right, the what we call the general picture of the research. But of course, without having a problem, we cannot conduct the research. That's why it is very important for us to identify the problem. Basically, right, at the end of this discussion, basically, I have assignment here. I have assignment here. Things this important, you can look here, right? Identify your research problem, right? Find 15 most relevant or updated, right, article published in the journal, and then, right, which is very much related to your research problem, and then review them, identify the existing research gap, right? And which gap you intend to fill up in your research problem. And then discuss the strength of your proposed research as compared to the existing relevant study. I think if you able, right, to what we call to do this assignment, I guarantee you already have a topic for your scriptsy or for your final project. Okay, with that, right, I end my presentation. Sorry, Nikmal Maula, ya, for the times. Okay, if there is any question or Q&A, yeah, okay, I return to Nikmal Maula. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much to Pak Sabri, to Prof. Sabri. But for the next information, we would love to have the question and answer session at the end of the session, sir, because we also would like to hear another mastery from Pak Tabani and Pak Heru. But for now, I would like to call Pak Tabani to start the sessions. But first, I would love to read the CV of Pak Tabani because we need to know who is him. While actually we have been familiar a lot with him apparently because Pak Tabani is the head of International Business and Economic Program since 2018 until this present time. And Pak Tabani has an experience in research, especially on the NIAS project after tsunami's disaster. And also Pak Tabani is also known as a branch manager of PNM, the National Capital and Management Provider, a wholly government-owned corporation focusing in financing and providing technical assistance for small, medium enterprises and industry, and also microfinance institutions in Indonesia. Pak Tabani is also being a lecturer in Shah Kuala University since 2017 until now. And Pak Tabani is also known as a Japan Foundation Ascendia Treasury on 1999 until 2001. And Pak Tabani is graduated from Shah Kuala University and finished his master degree at University of Georgia State University in USA. Without further ado, I would like to call Pak Tabani to start the session. To Mr. Tabani, time and place is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for Nima Maula. Appreciate for this session. And I think my session not so that much time to spend. So I'm gonna straightforward to presentation. Okay, excuse me. Okay, Alhamdulillah, Pak Professor Dr. Sabri already explained you about how to avoid in terms of introduction of research, and this is very famous one because you know Professor Sabri is a very like top 10, yeah, top 10 researcher around Indonesia in national level, and also with a very strong H index around the world and around national level as well. And here in Shah Kuala University, I think Professor Sabri, you can see in the Google Scholar, he's in society, of course, he's top one. I mean, number one, ranked number one for the citation and others research relevant, index. And also in Scopus, also in WOS, World of Science as well. And Professor Sabri also has, he became at the time for the 2 years ago, I believe, he got ranked number 2 in national level for the dosen prestasi in national level for lecture championship under Ministry of Education and Dikti. Okay, I'd like to share a little bit. Okay, would you please share my to open the house for me, please? Okay. Okay, I just want to short discussion about how to get your idea about basic tips preparing your manuscript for preparing for paper. Okay, preparing your manuscript is some basic tips. You have to know to be keen and write a first and edited letter, yeah, and keep it simple, of course. complicated ideas expressed plainly. So paper structure, like introduction, methodology, result discussion, function. Many times that I teach the class for the basic writing and academic writing, the 8 fundamental that you have to know. First is a title, of course, the title in terms of the eye-catching, and then second is abstract in terms of many things that you have to cover, and then introduction, and then literature review, methodology, and result and discussion, conclusion and recommendation, and the last part is references. Yeah, so this we have to cover about. So what makes a good title? A good title is simple advice, keep it short and to the point, of course. I might say eye-catching. So when you try and to develop a title, it means that you address what your idea to the people, to the readers. So you have to be clear in this way. Not too broad, not too general, but should be sharpening. Yeah, should be sharp, narrow, yeah, something like that. So, and then make sure to include specific keywords and that capture the subject of your article. Avoid redundant of like imitation words, phrases, and highlight your findings, not your process. Make sure it stands out creativity or in terms of clarity. Yeah. So do not please write the title more than 3 lines. Basically, the international standard, like what I have learned in Harvard University, they provide me like only 2 or 1 lines, instead. Yeah. And also in writing abstract, so what is to be contained in abstract? So you have to write the paper first. It is a review or map the entire paper and check the IFA, the journal of your submitting to the, there will likely be requirements, okay? So you intended audience frame it for them and about those words, keywords, phrases, naturally, of course. And then this paper focus on essential information. So like when you set up the abstract, it should be contain like 4 or 5 instruments like there. First, how you address the problem, why you why you elaborate this topic, why you learn your thema or your subject. So what the summarized problem that we address for the audience. And also the second thing, what is the methodology and the grounded theory that you address for this research. And then the fourth, how you make it clearly understanding and address the people, how the result and discussion, yeah, and also the last part, how you recommend of the result of your research. Yeah. So make sure language not so difficulty to be understood. And when you develop keywords after abstract, sometimes you might be asked for the author, for the publication journal, you have to provide the keywords. Keywords maximum 5 words, sometimes they're 4 words. So what words of 2 phrases to 4 words would you use to find your article, to some synonyms, yeah, what that are not already included the title. Yeah, what I suggested you, when you develop title, so keywords should be capturing, should be recognizing all those in terms of what basically, and so many appears in terms of your paper, yeah, in terms of your manuscript. So, and then be specific. If the word is too simple, so broad the search will produce too many documents. Yeah, for instance, homelessness, yeah, Swedish homelessness policy. So make it short, not so many things happen, yeah, not so two wordies. And then are the methods and techniques relevance include, and test your keywords before submitting. And also publication ethics issues that can arise. So this thing that you have to concern about, authorship, competing interests, and also duplicate submission. Please do not submit your article 2 or 3 times at the same journal and all other journals or others else publications elsewhere. So this is subject to be filed, and you will be subject to be totally plagiarism. Yeah. So this is not good ethics. Yeah. And then data and image publication and falsification also, you have to be concerned about. Check internal team in terms of plagiarism and similarity things, and also peer review manipulation as well. So you have to be honest that in review manipulation, do not forget to cite, other people's authors, yeah, and breaches of copies, right? So in terms of authorship, what are the issues? The issue is ghost, guess, and authorship for sale. So do not please shopping around with this authorship. If you wanna back up or you understand as a very good, strong as a guess and authorship, then you have to show off you are there. So, and also who qualifies for this? Substantial contributions of the conception of design of the work and the acquisitions of analysis or interpretation data and then work, and also drafting the work and revising critically for important intellectual consent, and final approval for the version to be published, and also agreement to be accountable for aspects of work ensuring that question rely on to the accuracy, integrity, and any part of the work of appropriate, integrity, and result. So this you have to be concerned about. And also duplicate submission, I already mentioned before, yeah. And also originality, yeah, things like plagiarism and text recycling, you have to be aware of, okay? And before submit, please look at the publisher papers. And then second, review the aims and scope and check the bibliography. I mean, bibliography is the same like references. And also explain acronyms and unusual terminology. And also follow the instruction for others, format your article to the journal, and consider English polishing, meaning you have to submit to the native speaker to be proofread, please. Yeah, otherwise your words will like mess up. Sometimes the taste of the language is not the same like what the original of the native speaker from. Okay. And also submitting a manuscript to journal. Before you start, make sure that you have to do the following as follows, like all manuscripts, files, figures, tables, and any other files which many make up your submission. Also, permission to use image data, also this is recommended. And intensity as well. And email address for all your co-author and their names, text spellings. They would want them to appear in the final citation. And also agreement with the co-author and publishing, which is your first choice, I mean, first author, second author, who is the corresponding author. So you have to manage for those. And also the correct analyzed version of your paper, meaning that you have to be standing in the, right path. Yeah. And also types of peer review, yeah, there's a single blind and single anonymous, and double blind as well, and double anonymous, and open peer review. You can see how it works. Yeah, sometimes it depends on how they review for your manuscript or paper. And who is involved? So many involved in your paper concern. First, editor, and second, reviewers, and then journal staff. So dealing with editor, yeah, you have to have like be concerning about assess the article and usually select suitable reviewers. Like science and social science, you have to distinguish like that, and also make decision on publication, which you think that your journal or your paper or your manuscript to be submitted. Yeah, if there's like you relate with the sociology, so you have economic and sociology, you have to look for the paper. I mean the publication in terms of the sociology, economic sociology. If in terms of urban planning or region or accounting, so you have to relate on that way as well. So please make sure that you know the journal itself. I mean the publisher who like to accept your manuscript to be published, and also make decision on publication. This is very important thing. You select what Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or in other words like CINTA in national level. So it depends on your you want to achieve for your paper. And usually the trick and the tips, like when you submit a Q1 and then you will be absolutely sometimes like rejected, then you can change to the Q4 for the scopus, like in terms of the publication. And also reviewers. assess the detail, gives advice and expertise to the editor, and also journal stuff like check format, and you follow guidance of the your paper to submit, and then the manuscript that you submit also, please follow the publisher guidelines. Sometimes they need like 12 time commas or italic, I mean, like a single space or one half a single space, and so on and so forth. So, and then a production process once article accepted, and maintain journal system and website. What I had experienced in Sinta too, this is very hard time. I revised like 6-7 times back and forth. This hard. So, but okay. I mean, this is the experience that you take a look, because the harder that you face, this is the challenging that you will look at. Yeah. And make it easy for the editor. So when editor like to edit your manuscript, make sure that you follow the guidelines, yeah, and address every comments. What the comments that are addressed to you and ask you to do so, please revise accordingly, and please make over accordingly. Yeah. Do not exaggerate this kind of suggestion from the editor, and do not miss every single event for the revision to submit your journal to be revised. And also, where you amended page number, new material, and then a specific, addition of the amendment of the literature maybe. So you have to follow the editor consent. And then review the response twice to make sure it is clear. And be professional, respectful also. And remember that the reviewers are trying to help you publish. So please, they would like to publish your best work, of course. And then what to do when your article is accepted. So keep a copy of the accepted manuscript, and you may want to post it to website, etc., and then links to your final article using its digital objective identifier. So most of you maybe like to, curious, what is DOI stands for? So DOI stands for is Digital Objective Identifier. So please keep on in mind. And also keep in contact with the journal production editor. So you have to be like very close relationship with him, with her. Yeah. So, and they oversee the production of your article from manuscript to publication, and will send you a proof of your article to review before the final article is published online. So sometimes the publisher, may need to publish in online way or in offline way. But most of the time, the best journal or the best publisher, they are using online system. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask question if you are unsure about anything to the publisher or to the production editor. Yeah, and also simple but effective promotion tools also. Some quick tips to maximize the potential of your article to be seen, read and cite it, that you use, please use your email signature. Like for instance, we are from Syah Kuala University. So please you use domain in for email in Syah Kuala University. And also add a brief summary, because summary and link to your article in your department can be, enhance your career in terms of the publication. And then add it to your students reading list if appropriate. So post updates and link to your articles on academic and professional networking sites and discussions lists. Also, if you are a blogger and have a personal website, right? So write about your article and link into it. Yeah. So how research changed the world? So you can see in the website. I can see from here. I can see also www.howresearch.com. So you can keep in your mind. And also the guidance news and ideas for authors, how to write well, how everything goes, how everything goes well in publication, in develop manuscript, develop research, and so on and so forth. So you can see in authorservices.taylor and francis.com. Yeah. So publishing landscape today, you can see that all around the world, there's so many publishers, about 10,000 publishers around the world. So most of them like 5,000 index in Scopus. And then 33,100 active language peer-reviewed journal, and 7 to 8 million researchers nowadays, yeah, in around the world. And then increase in research and development investment, of course, day by day, like every company has a research and development in terms of research. And then numbers are increasing, of course, day by day, month by month, year by year, and over 3 million, over 3 million article. Yeah, so this is very fast moving. And choosing a journal, your current project, your internet audience. So remember, you are joining a conversation contribute thoughtfully. Yeah. So choosing a journal key consideration is like this kind of requirement. I mean, you have to consider about. First thing is about the age, yeah, the age, history, affiliation, and scope, as well audience, impact, editorial board, publishing model, peer review, rejection rate. So you can select any kind of journal based on this criteria. The more age the journal you face, it means that the more experience you have. Yeah, so you can keep in mind. And open access also during, I mean, in creative visibility, transparency in terms of article publication, open access. It is one of the experience that tellers and fans, yeah, receive like 32% more citation and over 6 times, yeah, that very influencing, yeah, in around the world, yeah. So your funder or institution may encourage or mandate, yeah, to access, and fund might be available to cover charges. So open access, you can find, right? You can see open access how the symbol looks like. This is free, available, and can reusable. So anything this kind of picture, kind of design like this, so you can freely available online to read, and then reusable by third parties with little or no restriction. And also journal publishing models like this. But the goal open access, you have like full open access on the left side, and then right side is hybrid access, hybrid open access. If you got full open access, it means that journals that publish all contents open access, funded by APC, article publishing charge, sponsorship, and institution agreement. But if you got in hybrid OA, meaning that subscription funded journal that have institution open access only APC, yeah. So under existing an agreement with the institution. So if any kind of journal you face like those kind of signs, so you can see that the CC means like Creative Commons license, BY meaning other must acknowledge you went to the use work, and then NC, other can only reuse your work non-commercially. Be careful, if you see NC, be careful, this is non-commercially. And then ND, others cannot amend your work, yeah. And also SA, meaning that the work must be shared under the same license as the original, okay. So, and this challenging, predatory journal post, you know what predatory journal means? Predatory journal means like, they just want to accept everything you journal without any review, peer review, without any, edit your journal, without any suggestion, and like big effort and give you revision back, no. So this is predatory, just want to you like get money, to have some funds to be published, that you are intended to pay more to be published your manuscript or your paper. So this is, be careful with predatory journals. Yeah? Okay, making information choice, and think and check, submit. This is 3 check that you have to look at in form of the choice for journal. So anything that you find out DOAJ, this is good, directory open access journal. Yeah? So you can see the link, and also CASPA. So you can see the link. Yeah. And you can go to thinkchecksubmit.org. This is the way that you can follow the instruction and guidance what you have to do about the manuscript. And there's quotes from the Monica Tellers, also founder of the Tellers and Francis, a very, very reputable publisher around the world. Yeah, I think authors need to think, what is it like to be an editor of a journal? Yeah, how many papers is editor receiving per day, per week? What is going to actually make the journal pay attention to my paper, Monica Taylor. Yeah? So the conclusion. So the conclusion is, once you step to write your paper to finish until end, from A to Z, first thing you have to have like strong intention, very strong sense you need, and then good finding what you want to do, what you want to write, yeah. And then collecting the material what you want to need, and then summarizing the idea and anything regarding the object and subject as well as the problems, summarizing, and of course doing an action. I mean, you doing, yeah, not just thinking, and writing it, and then proofwriting what you have done right, and submitting, and also publishing, and evaluating, and patterning. Patterning is like pattern, yeah. So you get a value of fund if you are a bestseller of your book, yeah, your book sellers or your manuscript sellers, yeah. And then sharing. Don't forget sharing. I think that's my presentation. So the sources you can access Euro Access ASEAN Council. So I got the message also from Taylor's Francis Group, and also my experience during during my talent scouting. So my talent scouting gave me a very broad experience, and also very tremendous experience, yeah, about the literature review. Where do I begin with review? What's literature review by definition? And then literature review, research analyzing, analysis. This is the way that I can share with you after all the session. So because my time is so short, so I believe that this kind of materials can support of your enriching your idea to write and in your manuscript. Thank you very much for your attention, and I say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to Maula.
Thank you so much to Pak Talbani. Now we will moving on to the next speaker of our today's event. Our next speaker is also a lecturer at International Business and Economic Program, Dr. Paul Heru Falevi, SAMS, MSc. He's graduated his sarjana or bachelor degree in Sekolah University Banda Aceh as a Bachelor of Economics, and continue his study at Manchester Business School, University of Manchester, MSc in Accounting and Finance, and lastly graduated in German University of Administrative Sciences, Speyer Doctor in Politics and Economics with magna cum laude appreciation. Pak Heru has become the lecturer at University of Shakwala, especially at Faculty of Economy and Business since 2006 until now, and on 2017 until 2019. Pak Heru lead international business and economic programs at Faculty of Economic and Business Shakwala University. On 2017, Pak Heru got an acquire from the government as the most outstanding lecturer at Faculty of Economic and Business Shakwala University. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Pak Heru to start the session. To Pak Heru, time and place is yours. Pak Heru, you can start, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Give me 2 minutes to open my laptop Zoom. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, sir.
Apologize for the awkward background. So just I'm going to start this presentation. My name is Heru, and the moderator has introduced myself. Thank you for Pak Bani and also other lecturers. My session will cover about the research method and research finding and discussion. I know that you have already received a lot of input today. In today's sunny Sunday, you learn about the research method. I know it's difficult and challenging. So I'm going to share my slide. Pak Talbani just recently covered about the production and also the publication process. I'm going to discuss about the research method and result presentation. I will do it slowly so you can get the whole slide or information from my side. I really wish that we can meet offline so we can know each other, but this life, we are in pandemic, so no chance to meet offline. So I'm going to start with the scholar, yeah. So scholar are people that do the scientific research, and we can see here not only from the Western people but also from Islamic people or Islamic scholar have did a lot of research, and all of their findings, the research finding and their invention, we can use until today. Yeah, you can see here there is Al-Khwarizmi who found or who established algebra, and also other popular Muslim scholar in the past. And also here there is some quote: "He who does not research has nothing to teach." And also from Thomas Alva Edison, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. So here we can see that actually research is not a new activity for us, particularly for us as a Muslim and also for other people. So it has been started since many years ago, and research is fun, yeah. So I think Prof. Sabri have told you what is the purpose of research and how to do it. And now I'm going to cover about two topics or two parts of research, and both component or both element are very important for a research. Yeah. So as we know that one of the most referred or frequent type related to research method is Karan, and she described the step of research process like in this slide, started from observation and then ended with report writing. So basically there are two kinds of research. The first one is basic research. Basic research is research to find a solution, an immediate solution from one problem. For example, Thomas Alva Edison, he did research on electricity and he found a lamp. That's kind of basic research. Sorry, that's kind of applied research. The other research is we call it basic research. This basic research is, for example, for our skripsi, our thesis, dissertation, and article published in journal nowadays mostly on the basic research. Yeah. So my part is number 7, number 8, and the presentation of the result. Yeah. So if you have opportunity to read an article in a journal, you will find a similar or a common part or section of an article. It always started with introduction, and then literature review. If you have a hypothesis, there will be what we call hypothesis development, and then you need to explain about how you conduct your research, and we can find the research method or research design in the research method section. After that, result and discussion, conclusion, and then references. So in my slide, I will focus on the research method and result and discussion. Yeah. Let's start with the research method. So research method in skripsi is in chapter 3. In research method, as a researcher, you have to explain step by step clearly about how you conduct your research. For example, you need to tell what are the population, what is your sample, how you collect your data, what kind of data you collected, and then how you analyze the data. Yeah, of course, in the research method, in designing a research method, you have to always refer to your research purposes. For example, if you have a research purpose, if your research purpose is to examine the relationship between GPA, student GPA, and number of books, so in your research method, you have to collect information about GPA of student and also number of books of every student in your population. Yeah, and then after you explain about your data, you also need to do the data analysis. Yeah, whether you use the statistical tool, or you do observation, questionnaire, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so you need to explain clearly and comprehensively about this data. Yeah. So in general, there are 3 types of studies. The first is, we call it quantitative. The second one is qualitative, and the last one is the mixed method. So you will learn more about this type of studies in semester 3, I think, or semester 5. But let me briefly discuss about this type of study. Quantitative is referred to a research that want to know or investigate a relationship between one variable and other variable, the association between one variable and other variable, and therefore it required statistical tool. For example, regression, statistical tool, the other statistical tools, analysis, and so on and so forth. So the purpose of this kind of study is to investigate whether the x variable, x means that there are some x variable, the independent variable have a pattern or have a relationship with the y variable. So if you do the quantitative, you will use statistic to prove or to make decision about your data. Yeah. And then the second one is qualitative. unlike quantitative approach, in qualitative, you mostly don't need to use a statistical tool, because in qualitative, your aim is to explore, to understand more about situation, about a problem. So you don't need a kind of statistical tool. And mixed method, this is quite new recent method. You combine both quantitative and qualitative. You may start with quantitative first, and then you do the qualitative by doing interviews, observation, and so on and so forth. And there are other studies, if we classify based on the nature: exploratory study, descriptive study, hypothesis testing, case study analysis. Most of students in their skripsi, they aims to test hypothesis. Yeah, so there are hypotheses. For example, there is a relationship between stock price and firm value. So this is a hypothesis, and then the researcher will collect data to prove or disprove that hypothesis. So in order to do that, the researcher will need to do the data analysis using the statistical software or statistical tool. Yeah. This is some of example. A marketing manager wants to know if the sales of the company will increase if he doubles the advertising dollars. So he wants to know whether the increase of advertising expenses will increase the sales. Yeah. So here the manager would like to know the nature of the relationship between advertising and sales. By testing the hypothesis, if advertising is increased, then sales will also go up. Yeah. So here the manager will collect data on advertising expenses and also about sales. Yeah, maybe from their products, and then the manager will do data analysis. From the data analysis, he will know whether the advertising expense or advertising cost has relationship with sales revenue. Yeah. Another important thing in research method is unit of analysis. What are your sample? What are your population? Yeah. Some research have individual unit analysis, groups, organization, or cultures. Yeah. For example, if you want to know the relationship between GPA of student and their current income, so the unit of analysis of your research will be individual, because you will collect data on the GPA of students. Students are individual, and also their parent income. But if you want to know the influence of accreditation, university accreditation on graduate salary, so you need to do your unit analysis will be organization. You will need to collect accreditation from several universities, and also you need to collect the information about the first salary of the alumni of that universities. Yeah. So this is some clues how to read research method. So you need to know that in research there are two important. The first is conducting the research, and the second one is reporting the result. Yeah. So skripsi is one way to report your research. Yeah. The other people, for example, lecturer, they don't need to do the skripsi. They will publish in articles. Yeah. So although you have a very good research method or very good research, but if you don't know how to present them in a paper or in scriptsy, it will be less meaningful. Yeah, so you need to know that writing is also play a significant role in research. Yeah, so this is some clues. For example, you need to describe the important step undertaken in conducting the research, and you need to also mention why you choose or the reason why you choose the approach. Yeah, for example, why the participant are student, why your data is only in Indonesian companies, why you choose regression, and so on and so forth, should be clarified clearly in the section of research method. Yeah, you should write in the past tense because you have done that activities, you have done the research, and then step by step. Do not too overwhelmed with definition in section of research method. You don't need to define what is population, what is sample by definition. You don't need to do that because it is assumed that the reader already know about that. Yeah. Don't write out some part of the result in this section. So you don't take or take your result and put it in the research method, because in research method section you need only to provide information about how you do the research. The result will be presented in the later section in the result and discussion, and no more literature review. You don't need to add some citation or references in the research method. Yeah, this is the example, one article from Zinsgu et al. How do firms respond to COVID-19? First evidence from Suzhou, China. So they do research on how firms respond to COVID-19. So I just take the information about the research method. So here you can see that they tell you about what data they use. Yeah, here daily data from 3 sources. Yeah, from 2019 to 2020, and then there are 34,040 enterprises that included as their sample. They also provide information about the formula, the model that they want to test, and then descriptive statistic. Yeah, so here they put descriptive statistic or the pattern of the data in the research method. So it's okay if the journal or the journal allow you to do that. It's okay. Yeah, so you should refer to the guideline. Yeah. Next, the second part is the result and discussion. So results and discussion. So basically, this is two part: result and discussion. So in writing result, result is the heart of your paper, the main point of your paper, the findings. Yeah, we call it also findings. So you need to arrange in different subsection to present data in the form of text and visual. So after you do the data collection and then do the data analysis, there will be a result. What are the results? Yeah. So this result can be presented in a table, in figure, formulas, and drawings. You can use that to make it more interesting. And then after that, you should explain, interpret the result, the table. What does it mean by information from the table? Yeah, so it's an author, you need to clarify and explain about the table, not to reread the table, but interpret what does it mean by this number. Yeah, and then don't go all artistic on your pictures, so you don't need to give a lot of colors, colorful graphs, charts with emoticon or with animation. You don't need that. So here, this paper for an academic journal, not an art museum. Yeah. So you need to be more specific on your picture. No need to put a lot of colors or information. Make it simple as possible. Yeah. So in result presentation, if you do the quantitative result, mostly you need to do provide information about statistical descriptive of your data or respondent. For example, you do research on student. It will be a good idea if you provide information about the respondent, the student that fill your survey. How many of them, their gender, their age, their profiles, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then explain if you do the qualitative. For example, you do case study in one university. You need to explain about the university in brief. I mean, where it is located, the type of the university, how big is the university, and other important information. After that, you can do the interpretation of the result efficiently and effectively. You may use table, diagram, chart, anything that make your data more interesting to read. Yeah, make it interesting and critical. So you need to be critical with your result. Why it's happened like that? Why the value is lower than it should be, and so on and so forth. Do not overclaim. So if you do research, if you collect data only from university in Aceh, do not overclaim that you say by saying that this the result is for Indonesia, for all university in Indonesia. That's what we call overclaim. Yeah, be efficient. Yeah, so do not be redundant. Don't repeat the same sentences. Use other sentences and be short as possible. Yeah, this is the example summary of corporation: minimum, maximum, mean, and standard. This is what we call statistical description. So here is the variables, APS, and then the pattern: minimum value, maximum value, mean, standard deviation. And this is the sample: 40 corporation, 43 corporation, and so on and so forth. So this is one of commonly result, yeah, that can be found in the in article or in scriptsy. Yeah. Descriptive statistic. Yeah. And then this is the result of data analysis. In this study, they use non-parametric correlation. So here we will see a lot of figures, a lot of number, and each number has its own interpretation. So you need to explain to the reader what does it mean. What happens if the value is lower than 1? What should be how we can interpret if the value significant or not. And here there is star here. What does it mean? And this should be clearly discussed or presented in the paper or in the scriptsy. Yeah, don't leave reader understand by themselves. Yeah, try to explain it shortly but efficiently. Yeah, and the last one is discussion part. In discussion part, basically, you need to compare and contrast between your research finding and previous studies result. So if in your research you found that there is impact of pandemic COVID-19 to corporation or firm performance, so you confirm that the effect. So you need to discuss with, you compare it with other studies, similar studies, that maybe the similar studies about the impact of COVID on the performance has been done in United States, in Europe. Maybe define different findings from your findings. So you need to compare and contrast. You need to compare your study is the finding of your study is similar to study of Mark 2020 and Stephanie 2020, but your result is not consistent with Johnson 2020 and Mark 2020. So you need to compare and contrast why your results are similar with other previous study and why it is not consistent with other previous studies. Yeah, that's the first thing that you should do. You may also use theory, for example, financial theory, finance theory, accounting theory to explain why your research end with that kind of finding. Yeah. And then provide argument and explanation or reason why your results are different from or similar to previous studies. Formulate implication of the findings. This is the important thing. Your study or your research found that COVID do not affect small companies. So what? So you need to explain what is the importance of your findings. Yeah. Maybe, for example, if your study found that COVID is not that effect that has less effect to the small companies, so you can argue that government should focus on bigger companies instead of small companies. So that's kind of implication that you should provide in your paper or in your script. Yeah, be critical and passionate. Yeah, so you have to critical to your findings and also to previous studies findings. Why they find totally different findings from your research findings? So you need to argue. Yeah, maybe previous studies done in developed countries, while your study undertaken in developing economies. So the situation is different. That's why you got or you obtain different result compared to the previous study. So you need to argue and then be critical to other studies. Yeah. So this is the last one in your discussion. So I remind, discussion is a section or a part of your script sheet that discuss or compare and contrast between the result of your study and other study and previous studies and theory. Yeah, you need to present presentation of background information as well as recapitulation of the research aim. You need to restate again what is your research objective. Brief summary of the result. You don't need to reinterpret, but only short. Yeah, what is the finding of your the main finding of your research, and then start to discuss. Comparison of result with previously published studies. So the reader will expect you compare between your result and previous study result. And also, if you have hypothesis, you need to draw the result. Yeah. Do you accept the hypothesis? Do the research accept hypothesis or not? Yeah. Don't do this. Do not insult the work of others. Write with ethics and politeness. So you don't say in your paper that previous study is false. Previous study is wrong. Previous study is nonsense. You cannot do that. You don't need to insult the other or previous studies result. You can be critical but not insult. Yeah. Do not repeat the result in this session. So do not copy and paste the result and take it and put it in the discussion part. Don't do that. Yeah. So because if a reader want to know about your result, they will go to the result section. Yeah. Okay. That's all from my side. I hope you can get insight and information, relevant information about the section of research method and result and discussion. Don't worry, you still have time. If you have a question, we can discuss it later. Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to say a lot of thanks to Mr. Heru for the session. And now we're moving on to the Q&A session. For all the participants who had a question for our lecture today, please kindly ask, and you can drop the question in the chat box. And later on, I will please all of you to ask directly to the speakers. Well, I think I will go first because I'm sure that I have a lot of questions in mind since right now I'm currently pursuing my 5th semester in International Economic Development Program. And I've been thinking that I would love to talk about climate and industry and also a little bit of finance sector in my final project later. And now I would love to ask to Pak Heru to answer my questions about what do you think of qualitative or quantitative research if I should take, if I would love to talk about climate, sir? Because I've been thinking that I find a lot of research about climate is much morely to talk about the qualitative, because what we're seeing right now is how the climate is affect our world. What I would like to ask is there any possibility of me, if I'm sure that I would love to talk about the climate situation in a quantitative way, sir? Because I've been thinking if I'm not only gonna consider about the effect of the climate, but also the right number of the things that actually happen in the climate. So, Pak Heru, please answer my question because I am really confused right now about that. Thank you, sir.
Your question is about.
Yeah, I asked about. Do you think the quantitative research is better to use as the method in climate research papers?
Climate.
How? Yeah.
Climate research.
Yes.
What do you mean by climate research?
I think I would love to focus more on renewable energy sources and its development, sir.
Climate change. Yeah.
Okay, climate change. So,
yeah.
My opinion, both methods are important and good. Yeah, you cannot say that quantitative is better than qualitative or vice versa. So it's like you said that is better than silet. Yeah, so it depends on how you use it. So you need to formulate your research objective first, and then decide the research design. If you want to know, if you're interested in exploring how companies, traditional companies, BUMN, BUMD, follow the rule of the climate change prevention or mitigation, maybe you need to do the explorative, and therefore you need to do the qualitative. But if you want to know, is there any association between profit and climate change prevention strategies done by the firms? So that's you need the quantitative. So basically, you can go using the qualitative and quantitative. It depends on you. If you depends on your research question or research objectives. Yeah. So you need to first formulate your research aim and then design your research. Choose whether you do the qualitative. Based on your research topic, you will know which method most suitable for your research question. Do not decide, okay, I want to do the quantitative and then find the research question. First, formulate the research question, the research objective, and then decide the research design. Yeah. But if you only have data, for example, it's very difficult to do the interview, to do the observation in the companies related to the climate change strategies. Maybe you can do the quantitative, yeah. But ideally, researcher need to formulate research question first and then decide the research design. maybe Prof. Sabri or Pak Parsimony have another information or answer.
I will also love to hear the point of view from Pak Tabani and Prof. Sabri if you both don't mind.
Okay. This question come from Sister, our moderator,
Yes, sir.
Nikmal Maula.
Yep.
In which program you are in?
I am a
economic
economic development program.
Okay, economic. Okay. I just would like to add, right? Of course, it's the research method, right? Whether qualitative or quantitative, or it could be you use both mixed method. Is very much depending on the research question, right? But if you are a student in economic, I think it's very, very rare, right? Very rare. The student in economic conduct qualitative research. Most of them is basically discussed using the quantitative research. So if qualitative research basically just exploring, just describing, right? Describing. For example, let's say you would like to describe what is the view of let's say the manager, right, the firm on climate change. Only the description you describe. Example, let's say you interview selected manager, they are selected manager, and then you describe. Only able to describe. For example, let's say you describe climate change. Example, let's say viewed as one major obstacle for economy, for, let's say for firm performance, right? Only just you mentioned it may have effect, or right, but you cannot measure the size of the effect, whether the effect positive. When, for example, let's say when climate change, for example, let's say when the climate change by 1 degree, how it going to affect, right? How much it going to affect, let's say the firm performance, right? That is very, very much depending on your research patient, but it is better for you, right? Because you are undergraduate student. It is better for you if you can use both. You use mixed method, so at least in the process you can learn both. For those, right, who conduct a qualitative research, it is not that difficult for them. For example, let's say when they are, when they would like to read the qualitative research, they can easily understand. But it is very hard for those who conduct, right, only have a basic on qualitative research. When he read, right, when somebody read paper using the qualitative research, then he or she find difficulty to understand, because the qualitative research, right, we can, for example, let's say, see the association, the correlation between climate change and economic growth, or we can see the effect, right, the interaction between the climate change and economic growth, or we can see whether, right, before and after there is a difference, right, between, let's say, it could be, let's say, the what we call the climate change, or let's say the environment preservation rule, right, before the implementation or after the implementation, whether there is a different effect. That basically the what we call the qualitative research, right? I think Pak Heru, right, have some studies, right, based on qualitative, but most of them is still quantitative, right? For my case, it's just very few, right? Very few study focusing on the qualitative. Or another aspect that you need also to consider if later on, right, you would like to publish your article, that's very hard to publish a qualitative article. Very small number of journal available, right? But if you would like to publish our article, right, based on the qualitative method, that is a bit easy, right? That is a bit easy. Because qualitative, right, we can measure, right? We can measure the effect when this change, how much the other will be changed, right? That if we look, right, in business, for example, let's say, right, for example, let's say when people discuss about the effect of loyalty, the effect of satisfaction on loyalty, for example, we know that satisfaction, loyalty, it is a latent variable. It is a construct, meaning that if you like to quantify the loyalty, then we have to, what we call, to define first, derive the indicator, and then the indicator translated into the statement or question, then the question distributed to the respondent will answer, then we calculate, right? We quantify, right? We quantify loyalty, we quantify the satisfaction. Then later on, after quantification, then we can use the what we call the quantitative research, meaning that there is a trend, even though the variable is qualitative, but they would like to convert that qualitative become quantitative, so that they can look, right, they can identify, they can explore the what we call the interaction between the variable, right? For your case, because you discuss about climate change, very easy to be quantified, right? Then I think a quantitative is a proper method that you can use, but you also would like to enhance your understanding what on qualitative. You may, for example, let's say in your final project, in your script, you have at least two research problem. The first research problem is a descriptive research problem, meaning that qualitative, you use qualitative to answer it. Then the second question, you may pose the what we call the quantitative research question, or you would like to identify correlation or relationship between climate change, and it could be economic growth, or it could be, for example, let's say efficiency, productivity of certain companies or firm. I think that would be I think it's better you can right, use both, right, a mixed method. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Sabri. And now I would love to hear the point of view from Pak Talbani, if you don't mind, sir. Sir, I think you forgot to unmute your microphone because I can hear your voice.
Yeah, I believe I agree also with Professor Sabri and also Dr. Heru. Basically, if I were you, I just go move forward. I mean, you have to determine first about the data that you will gather, because it's very hard, if you are doing in primary research and secondary research. So you have to look at about those kind of activities. So if you are doing like a primary research and you can easily conduct with the data and then you go to the site and everything elsewhere, so I believe you are more focused on the quantitative research rather than qualitative research, because so many parameters that you have to look for, you have to address, you have to digest in terms of if you are using for the qualitative research. So I think this is my opinion for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tabani. Now we would love to moving forward to please one of our participants today is Lamin. I think he want to ask the question for Professor Sabri, and I would love to please Lamin himself to ask directly to Prof. Sabri. To Lamin, please kindly unmute your microphone and ask to Prof. Sabri.
Okay. But my question is like to Professor So, Sabri, some people will tend to write researches in which they might spend months to see it through, but their paper is always rejected again and again. So, at a certain point, with this rejection, they come depressed about it, right? So what my point is like, what advice would you give these people? What advice would you give them for them not to give up?
Okay. If right, if I correctly answered your questions, when we submit the article, right, our article rejected, and then we try to send to another publisher, and also right, may
Yeah,
also get rejected, right? So what we have to do, right?
yeah,
Okay, it is very important, right? It's very important. Of course, the probability, right, our article to be accepted is very much depending on the quality of our article. It is very important, right? Basically, how to select the journal, right? How to select the journal. Of course, there are many considerations, right? I think one of the important thing, try to read the article that has been published. We try to observe, try to read some article published in that journal. Then, of course, we can evaluate whether the quality of our article is at the same level, or it could be better than those articles, right? Published in the journal, right? I think because we cannot, right? We cannot just do by trial and error. We have, because we know that the process of our article, right? The process of review, the process of revision, the process of publication, it may take up to 1 year, right? Or let's say on average is not less than 6 months. Right? That is very important. When we choose the journal, we have to really ensure that, right, the quality of our article at least the same with the journal, and also at the same time, right, we can also view, for example, let's say the history, right? The reputable journal, they provide submission history. What do we mean submission history? Meaning that we can see, right, people experience sending their article to that journal, how long it take, right, until the article get published. For example, let's say submission, the date of submission, and then the date of a review, and then we will see the review, is it one time or twice, and then after review, and then the date of revision, and then the date of acceptance, right? They provide, right? They right, that information is very important for us, right? For example, let's say when we see the process is 1 year, on average is 1 year, then it is better for us not to select that journal, and also try to see whether the journal publish one in a year, or let's say 12 in a year, monthly. Because if we select the journal that publish one in a year, then of course it has what we call a small opportunity for us to be accepted. If it is accepted, then of course we have to what we call to be in a long queue. All right. I think the most important thing, Brother Lamin, yeah, the most important thing, we have to provide a good quality of research. Of course, I think the quote, right, the quotation by Pak Talbani, I think that is very important. When we send our article to the journal, we have to put ourselves in the shoe of the auditors, right? So meaning that, right, we have to really confirm, right? We have to really confirm my article should be accepted, right? My article, right, that no reason for editor to reject my article. So meaning that, right, our article offer something new, something different, right, with the previous article. But for the beginner, right, it's very common, right? All scholar, right, big scholar who have a long list of publication, when they start at the beginning, they start with a low level of the journal, or even though, right, they get rejected. I think when it is get rejected, it is very helpful for us, because, right, what we call, they provide a comment, very what we call very scientific comment. They provide the reason, right? From that comment, right? From that suggestion is we learn a lot. I think I learned a lot, right? I learned a lot. Now when I would like to send an article, I know what I should take care. I have to look into, because that is the common thing that will be looked into by the reviewer, right? I think very hard, right? Very hard, very rare, right? Very hard to find people when they send the article directly would be accepted. If it is accepted, then the journal is questionable. The journal could be a predatory journal, as explained by Pak Talbani, right? I think I have experience, right? Few experience supervising undergraduate student, right? Then their final project, part of their article published in the reputable journal, in the Scopus journal. Even though last semester, right, one student, undergraduate student, his final project, right, published in three article in national accredited journals in Tatu, and some of them in the Scopus. That why in this opportunity, I think I would be very lucky if Pak Talbani, right, will assign a few international student for me to supervise. Then I think that is very good opportunity for me to at least, right, to publish, right, IBEF part of the research into the reputable journal.
Sure, Professor. Of course.
Okay, I think that is the because discuss about many issues that we have. Right? Just I explain briefly, right? Because we are on the same campus, right? If there is any discussion, then I would be very happy, right? We can discuss.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor Sabri. Now I would like to please Sir Eka Khairandi Octavianto to ask his question.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Nikmal Maula. Maybe the first I want to say sorry for my bad English for anyone. My name Eka. I want to ask to Prof. Sabri. Excuse me, Prof. Can you give us some tips that we can go to Scopus Journal? I mean, some of my friends ever told me that if we want to publish our journal to Scopus, it need we must to partner with some people that ever publish at or have some higher citation approach, like in Scopus or in another journal. I think that's my question, Prof. Can you give us some tips for that? Thank you.
Okay, Nikmal Maula, can I respond directly?
Sure, sir, please.
Okay, Eka, your English is very good, right? Don't worry about bad English. English is just what we call the instrument, right? The tool for us to communicate. As long as other people understand, then right, meaning that we already use a good English, right? Okay. In some cases, yeah, you are right, right? Meaning that when we partner, when we co-authorize our article with those who have a good track in publications, right? So at least the reviewer, right? The reviewer, when the reviewer see the name of the person, right? Then he confirm that. He confirm that the article is with a good quality. Because we know that, right? Writing article is difficult than writing a book. That's why in for us, right, for academicians, for us, in order to be promoted, right, to the higher level, we have to publish article, not a book. Even though a lecturer can publish a book, right, a ton of book, right, or let's say a million or trillion number of book, right, he cannot be a professor, right? He have to write an article. Because article, right, a good article, when we send before it is published, it should be reviewed. Go to the reviewing process, right? Who is the reviewer? The reviewer is the expert, right, in the field. But if we write the book, I can write the book, right? Let's say I'm finished the book, I send to the publisher, then tomorrow the book can be printed without the reviewing process, right? That is basically give what we call the higher value for the journal, right? For the article journal. Let alone when we talk about the highest, the top 25% or Q1, right? Reputable journal, right? So, for example, let's say we discuss in economic, it could be the top 200 best journal in the world, right? Okay, of course, right, as I think I mentioned to the Lamin, of course, the main, right, factors basically for our paper to be accepted is basically the quality, right? Basically the quality, meaning that the quality, right, we have a catchy, right, we have a catchy title, we have a what we call a convincing introduction. We show that our study is totally different with others. We contribute more, right? And also we focus on a specific, or let's say a hot issue, and then we use a robust methodology, right? We use the standardized methodology, and then when we discuss, we have a critical discussion, as Pak Dr. Heru mentioned. We not only interpret, right? We not only, let's say, discuss the effect, like when this increase, the another will increase. But the most important thing is basically what is behind our finding, what is behind the figure, right? Meaning that we provide the scientific justification, and then confirmation, and then implication, right? Meaning that entire part component of the research basically should be of good quality. But we know that, right, the process of a review is done by a reviewer. The reviewer, right, for reputable journal, they are not paid. They are not paid. I also have experience of reviewing, right, Q1 journal, such as social indicators, right? It is free, right? I'm not paid. And we know that the reviewer are the what we call the busiest, the prominent scholar, right? They are busy. They are extremely busy with their job. That's why they don't have enough time, right, to review, right? That's why, for example, let's say, right, if I would like to decide within 10 minutes or within 2 minutes whether the article should be accepted or not, right? The first time that I should look basically the author. Who are the author? Right? Whether the author has experience of publishing the article. I look at first author. Let's say first author, none of the article, right? He has no publication in a good journal. I look at second author, also no. I look at third. Or when I look at the fourth author, for example, let's say, right, he have a good record in Scopus. So at least I am confident as the reviewer, right? This, let's say, I get the first perception the article is of good quality. That's why it is very important, basically, right? When we have article, we can collaborate. For example, let's say we collaborate across different university, across nation. That would be what we call would be more convincing, right? But right, the most important aspect, I think, right, the most important aspect, because the reviewer, right, they don't have ample time to read all, right? When they read abstract, interesting. When they read introductions, not interesting, then they are not going to continue reading other part. That's why introduction is very important, right? Introduction is very important, because introduction we have to convince people, right? We have to convince people why the topic that we discuss, the topic that we research, it is important, then right, why it should be published. That way, right, two aspects, the most important, basically research problem. And discuss about research problem, we have to spot by data, by statement, by the figures, right? Not only the statement of the researcher, because this is scientific, and then we should identify the gap, right? We should identify the gap, right? The more, all right, what we call the more contribution, the more aspect that we can fill up the gap, that our article, all right, contribute more. That's why it is very important, yeah, Brother Eka. It's very important when we conduct a research, we have to read a lot. For example, let's say Sister Nikmal Maula discussing about climate change, right? Nikmal Maula have to read who are the first discuss research or did research on climate change, right? And then the trend of the research on climate change, right? So Nikmal Maula know the first research conduct by this, and then later on, right, develop, or right, and then Nikmal Maula can identify which, right, right, kind of the shortcoming of existing research, or etc. Right. That's why if you target to a good journal, then you have to read, right? You have to refer to also to a good references, right? I think Pak Talbani, it is important if, for example, let's say we write, the student have opportunity, for example, let's say how to write a good title, how to write a good abstract, how to write a good introduction, right? Meaning that more on practical side of doing research. But at least, right, listening to question, right, from IBEF student, I'm very confident, I'm very happy. At least, right, you have motivations, and I believe under Pak Talbani, right, next year, right, a few article, reputable, right, reputable article will be published by our IPF student. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sabri. Now we would love to give the last chance to ask a question, which is Bakari Daba. To Bakari Daba, time and place is yours.
The sound's not so clear.
Bakari, I can hear your voice. Can you please louder?
Can you hear me now?
It's still a bit unclear. I think something happened in your room, or any machine is on right now, because it seems like there's something on behind you, but I don't know what is that.
Okay, what about now? Is it better?
Yeah,
Very, very clear.
really good.
Okay, good. So, Professor Sabri, my question is going to be like, if I want to like write or to challenge the findings of a particular research, would it be appropriate for me to like change the whole methodology, like the whole approach of the research? Like example, if that researcher used secondary data to conduct his research, would it be appropriate for me to also conduct a similar research to refute the findings of that research, but by using primary data?
Okay. as I mentioned earlier, right, one of the considerations for the editor of the journal, right, to accept our article because we offer something new, right? Our study different to previous one. Or in other words, it is called novelty, originality of our article, right? The newness, right, of our article. So the novelty, right, the what we call the strength, right, of our article can be in terms of methodology, right? Can be in terms of methodology. The methodology that we use is totally different with others. But if we would like, right, to contribute in terms of methodology, it is not easy, right? Not easy, right? For example, let's say you introduce a new methodology, that is not easy, right? Or unless, for example, let's say Nikmal Maula, right, focusing on issue, his research, her earlier research, for example, let's say focusing on customer perspective, right, on the what we call on the customer demand perspective. Katarina, for example, let's say conduct research from the supplier producer perspective, right? Then Bakari Baba say, oh, there is a study. Nikmal Mola looking from demand, Katarina looking from supply, but none of the study looking both perspective, because looking either, right, on either perspective, he cannot provide the comprehensive finding. That's why I would like to look from both perspective, meaning that the model that you use combining both demand and both supply, or you discuss about the equilibrium, right? That can be discussed about you combine the existing methodology, right? But if you like, for example, let's say I said, right, you like to introduce new methodology, totally new, that is very hard, right? Very hard for us, unless it could be professor from Harvard or professor kind of our guest speaker, right, Matthew or etc., right? I think for us, like undergraduate level, right, it is not easy, right, to what we call to come up with totally new methodology. Okay, it could be, right, new in terms of the data, because we discuss about methodology, right, discuss about variable, discuss about the data, and also discuss about the data analysis, right, the modeling, right, the modeling. If earlier study, for example, let's say, use a quantitative approach, already measure the effect, cause effect or interaction between the variable, and then if you like, right, to use the, let's say, primary data, you just simply interview, right, then I don't think so that you offer something new. Unless, for example, let's say you criticize there is a study using a secondary data, right, but the study did not confirm with the, for example, let's say, right, Nikmal Maula, let's say, for example, let's say, find the data on climate change. It could be looking at the changes in, for example, let's say, temperature, right? Then he looked, for example, the agricultural production, right? Then you may claim, right, Bakari Baba said, okay, if we just use the quantitative approach without interviewing, without cross-check, yeah, with the let's say the farmers or etc., then it could be the finding is questionable. Then you, for example, let's say, right, in your study, not only using the quantitative approach, but also you combine with qualitative approach. So in that case, meaning that you offer something new, something better than the existing study. But if you use methodology which is weaker, right, what we call weaker than worse than the existing study, then of course your article is no chance, right? No reason to be accepted for publication, right? That's very important, right? When we do research, it's very important. We criticize others. We tell other people, other research bad, other people, other research contain many shortcomings, right? But of course, should be scientific, right? We have to provide the reason, not just simply the claim, right? I say Nikmal Mola have conduct research, but I research something, right? There is weaknesses here, shortcoming here, Lamin also here. That's why I would like to do a research. But when I would like to do a research, of course, the methodology, the data that I use is better, more comprehensive than the existing research, right? We can come with a new methodology as long as that methodology, right, is better than the existing methodology. Okay, I think that is my answer.
Okay, thank you so much to Professor Sabri. Now we've come to the end of the session of our today's event. But what I would like to say as the moderator that we can conduct from all of the math that we get to build a research and to become a best researcher is that we should pay more attention and well-being and also well-detailed at every things in our research topic. Because what we've actually want to acquire and what we've actually want to look deep and deeper in this topic is that we could solve the problems and we can see a lot of point of views in one problem in a scientific ways. And I hope that our today's event is give a lot of beneficiary things to all of us, not only me personally as a student, but also another my fellow friends and fellow partner in this Zoom meeting. And for the last, I would love to say that I will give this section back to the Master of Ceremony. For Gerin, I would love to give it back to you. And lastly, I would say thank you so much and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Because the Q&A session is over, it's time for photo session. Please turn on your camera and put your best style. Ready?
All should show their face. Zahrani, Anto, Aditya.
Ready all? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Next slide, please. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you so much to Nikmal Maula that lead the talk show very well, and also thank you so much for sharing to our speakers, Mr. Professor Dr. Muhammad Sabri, SAMAC, and Mr. Tabani Farliat, SAMA, and Mr. Dr. Herfa Levi, SAMSJ. We have a really great time listening to the talk show, and we hope it will be also useful for us. Ladies and gentlemen, the talk show marks the last agenda of our event. Thank you very much to our speakers and moderator, the committee, and the audience entirely. To remind you, we also have a very special speaker tomorrow morning. So see you tomorrow. I'm Getaina Marsha as the master of ceremony. And if I'm guiding this event, I made a mistake or offend someone here, I do apologize. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Pak Talbani, I would like to just one few words, right? This I think very important. I used to be the reviewer of a scholarship, right? LPDP, right? The scholarship provided by the government of Indonesia under
Thank you, sir.
supervision of Ministry of Finance. Also, Dr. Heru is currently the reviewer.
Yes.
I have experience, right, when we review, because we the one who have what we call the power to recommend whether they are going to be sponsored or not to study overseas many well-known university. In cases, right, there is one candidate, pharmacist, you would like to study pharmacist. He cannot speak up clearly, right, not that confident, right, and then when they would like to decide, right, they recommend or not, they said, oh, lacking of skill or communication or etc. Right, then I said pharmacist no need to have a good communication skill because he dealing with medicine or etc. If he know or to talk much, then he have to talk with the medicine. It is useless. But right, one of the main consideration later on that candidate recommended, because when he did his undergraduate when he did his undergraduate level, right, part of his final project published in the Scopus Journal. Because he has that record, right, that what we call, he has that in his curriculum vitae, he has one publication in reputable journal with his supervisor, with his lecturer. Later on, he get scholarship, right, from the government of Republic Indonesia to study overseas. That's why it is very important for you, yeah, my beloved student, right, to take seriously, right, in research.
Yeah, your sons, Pak Doctor.
I think you need to unmute your microphone, sir.
Okay, under Pak Albani, right, you can do, I believe.
Inshallah, with the sponsor, with the support of Professor Sabri and Dr. Heru and all of here, inshallah. Yeah, they are now trying to publish a Q1, Q2, Q3, of course. Ramin, Bakari, but two weeks ago, me and Bakari also a little bit failed Q1, so they returned. So we try to to retake again, inshallah, to resubmit again with other, inshallah. Thank you, Pak Professor Sabri, for your support.
Sama-sama.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Dr. Heru also. And thank you for the committee and Sidki, Head Committee, and all the audience and participants. Please do not forget tomorrow morning, inshallah, at 9 o'clock, we have a very special speakers from United States, inshallah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, I seek permission to leave the Zoom.
Okay, thank you, Pak Professor Sabri.
Okay, assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Eka Akhtar here from di mana, Pak? Pak Eka?
Ya, Pak Albani.
Ya, dari mana, Pak, Bapak?
Ya, I'm from Statistik Indonesia, Pak.
BPS.
BPS, ya.
Aceh or central government?
In West Sulawesi, Mamuju.
Very far away, yeah? Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for participation.
Yeah, thank you.
Till tomorrow, inshallah, for the
inshallah.
outstanding speaker from United States, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak Eka. Okay, back to committee. So I make permission. Always all the best and see you tomorrow, inshallah, for the last session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. See you, sir.
Salam.
Waalaikumsalam.
See you, everyone.
See you.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Hey, Sidki.
Why, Lamia?
You guys take the slide from Pak Heru, okay?
Okay.
Pak Sabri.
No. All. We should say
Pak Heru.
Oh, Pak Heru.
Yeah,
Ayo,
use.
Okay.
Okay.
Ozil, avoke wa abe kuma boy abe wura kam boy afa ila camera be on de.
No problem. Okay, see you guys.
What's that, man?
See you. It's great.
Bagari or Lamin, you just text Azra. Just text Azra.
Okay, no problem. Bye-bye.
Daripada kayak gitu.
Bang Ayas. Bang Ayas. Bang Ayas ditanya CM, abang di mana?
Aku yakin Ayas tidur. Karena Ayas lagi sakit.
Kak Mola, makasih Kak ya.
Sama-sama. Untung aku bisa kan. Coba aku nggak bisa, jadi nggak ada gitu. Bisa kan harus cari lain. Untung aku bisa.
Emang moderator paling the best.
Nggak usah banyak ngomong. No offense. I don't need your sweet words whatsoever.
Makasih Mola.
Makasih aku.
Makasih Kak Mola.
Makasih Edit nonton. Ulang balik. Makasih Edit udah nonton. Nggak ada.
Oh, sorry. Aku kira apa?
Coba.
Aku izin lah ya.
Ada kendala apa, Mol?
Nggak ada apa-apa sih. Cuman aku tunggu. Aku lihat siapa tinggal. Nggak, maksud aku kayak gini. Besok kan Pak Dinaro ya moderatornya.
Ya.
Pak Roli, Beb.
Pak Roli.
Ya, kita matiin aja berarti.
Supaya
Pak Roli
kan. Aku supaya tidak ada.
Halo Lara. Baru masuk ya?
Nah, biarkan semua orang ngomong dulu.
Nggak, maksud aku supaya tidak ada misconception besok. Kok bisa pastiin lagi sama Pak Rolinya gitu, Bapak tuh bisa apa enggak. Jadi kan apa tuh nggak tiba-tiba. Sebenarnya gini, aku merasa aku mampu hari ini ya karena yang pertama yang ngomong tuh aku udah pernah ngomong kayak itu kan. Tapi kalau ceritanya misalnya seandainya tomorrow Pak Roli juga membatalkan kayak hari ini, aku kan harus lebih well prepare kan. Aku nggak mau lah kelihatan bodoh di depan speaker tuh. Masa aku nggak ngerti dia ngomong apa. Ogah hal ya awak jadi moderator awak ngerti gitu kan.
Tapi udah chat Pak Roli. Udah bisa.
Oke, berarti pastiin aja semuanya tuh nggak ada yang batalin kayak Bapak.
Udah dia jawab oke sih. Thank you Mola.
Kan aku izin les ya.
Ya, terima kasih Mola.
Gimana cara jawabannya? Langsung kayak kemarin nanti resiko tanggung sendiri. Kan kadang tangan menjahit. Resiko tanggung sendiri lah.
Panitia gimana? Ada kendala nggak?
Di kampus.
Panitia ada kendala nggak?
Terima kasih semuanya, izin live ya.
Oke, makasih semuanya.
Ain. Ain.